Assalomu alaykum hurmatli talabalar. Bugungi video darsni Mirzo Ulug'bek nomidagi O'zbekiston Milliy universiteti Xorijiy filologiya ingliz tili kafedrasi magistratura 2-bosqich talabasi Охунжонова Х olib boradi. Ijozatingiz bilan darsni ingliz tilida davom ettirsak. Today's topic is conditional sentences. So what is a conditional sentence? Conditional sentences are statements discussing known factors or hypothetical situations and their consequences. Complete conditional sentences contain a conditional clause, often referred to as the if clause, and the consequence. The structure of the conditional sentence is composed of two parts, if clause plus main clause. For example, if it rains tomorrow, we will not come. In this sentence, if it rains tomorrow is the if clause. We will not come is the main clause. The order of the two clauses is flexible. It's not important. It means that we can change their places. But if the if clause comes first, it must be followed by a comma. If it rains, comma, I will stay at home. Or I will stay at home if it rains. There are four types of conditional sentences. They are classified according to the degree of probability that they express. It is important to use the correct structure for each of these different conditional sentences because they express varying meanings. Each type of conditional sentences use different tenses to show the difference in the degree of probability. Let's look to this slide. There is given the formula of the conditional sentences. Zero conditional if plus present tense. Water boils if it reaches 100 degrees. First conditional if plus present. If I study, I will pass. Second conditional if plus past. If I studied, I would pass. Third conditional if plus past perfect. If I had studied, I would have passed. Let's look more detail. Zero conditionals. The tense of the zero conditionals present tense in both clauses. For instance, if you had water to 100 degrees, it boils. There is the present simple at both clauses. If you pour oil into water, it floats. The usage of zero conditionals. We use it when we talk about universal truth. If you had ice, it turns to water. To talk about habits, if I see a spider, I get very scared. There is a video about zero conditional. Let's watch it.
What is the zero conditional? Well, we usually use the zero conditional to talk about things which are always true or things which always happen as a result of something else. We're not talking about a specific event here, but rather something which is generally true. Hence, we often use the zero conditional for facts. For example, what do you think this mad scientist is trying to say? Sometimes the things we talk about are not facts, but rather general truths. How can we make a zero conditional statement about budget airlines in this situation? routines and habits. Preferences. Rules and laws. Causes and effects. We can even use the zero conditional to talk about superstitions.
So let's continue our lesson. Next one is the first conditionals. The tense of the first conditionals, if clause as the present tense and the main clause as the future tense. First conditional sentences are used to express situations in which the outcome is likely to happen in the future. For example, if it rains, the match will be cancelled. Moreover, we use first conditionals to speak about possible or probable future events. If the weather is as sunny tomorrow as it was today, we will go surfing. Next usage is to make promises or warnings. If you forget my birthday, I will never speak to you again. To give commands, if you are tired, go to bed. In this case, the verb in the main clause is an imperative. Next one is the second conditionals. Second conditional sentences are useful for expressing outcomes that are completely unrealistic or will not likely happen in the future. The if clause of the second conditionals are at the past tense. Main clause, would plus an infinitive. Look at the example. We use second conditionals to speak about present and future situations which are unlikely to happen. For instance, if I had any money, I would lend it to you. If I were you, I wouldn't do this. Let's pay attention. There is instead of was, we use were. Why? Were is often used instead of was in the first and third person singular at the second conditionals. Third conditionals. If clause at the past perfect tense and main clause would have plus past participle. For example, if I had had enough money, I would have bought the camera yesterday. Third conditional sentences are used to explain that present circumstances would be different if something different had happened in the past. In addition to that, to speak about impossible past events. If they had gone by bus, they would have arrived much later. It means that they didn't go by bus. Next example, he would have traveled around the world if he had had more money. It means that impossible to change because he didn't have the money. There is other connectors for using conditional sentences. We can use other connectors instead of if. First connector is unless. If you don't phone John, he will get very angry. Or in other words, unless you phone John, he will get very angry. The meaning of these two sentences are the same, but connectors are the different. Unless can replace if in negative conditionals. Next connector is even if. I won't go to the party even if they beg me. Next one is in case. Take an umbrella in case it rains. That's all. Thank you for your attention. I hope that you will get something informative for you about conditional sentences.